Welcome my dear students of class 8A and 8B to my civics class. Today's topic, chapter number 2. Chapter 2 topic is the Union Executive. Points are legislative powers of the President, judicial powers, emergency powers, discretionary powers. So these are the powers of the President I am going to teach you. First one, legislative powers. Some parts of these legislative powers were left. That's why now I am going to re-explain certain points, and I'm going to teach the legislative powers of the President of India. What are the legislative powers of the President? You know, the President has certain legislative powers. Number one, the President can summon the Lok Sabha. The President can, declare. The President can adjourn the meeting of the Lok Sabha. But what is needed most is the consent of the Prime Minister. Without being consented by the Prime Minister, the President cannot adjourn the House, or the President cannot, the President cannot summon the House or adjourn the meeting of the Parliament. In that case, the requirement is Prime Minister's consent. But the President can summon a joint session of both the houses to resolve the deadlock between the two houses. The President has the power to dissolve the Lok Sabha on the advice of the Prime Minister before the term is over. Sometimes the term is over. Sometimes the term, before completing the normal term of 5 years, the Lok Sabha can be dissolved by the President. But in that case, the President requires the consent of the Prime Minister. Without the consent of the President cannot dissolve the Lok Sabha. But in some cases, while summoning the Lok Sabha or while adjourning the meeting of the Parliament, sometimes the President is supposed to do it without depending on others, as per the Constitution. But it looks very odd. That's why before doing it, generally, President consults the Prime Minister, or Prime Minister may give advice to the President regarding the decision of summoning the House or adjourning the meetings of the houses. And next one, the President can nominate 12 members. The President can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. The President has another power, another legislative power, that is, the President can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha from different streams, from the field of education, from the field of sports, from the field of culture, and from the cultural activities, from the field of film, from the field of science and scientific activities. The President can nominate any person to be the member of the Rajya Sabha. How many members can the President nominate to the Rajya Sabha? There are 12 members can be nominated by the President to the Rajya Sabha. And how many members are can be nominated by the President to the Lok Sabha, and from which community? The President can nominate 2 members from the Anglo-Indian community. The President can nominate 2 members from the Anglo-Indian community to the Rajya Sabha. Whenever President considered that the number of members nominated to the Lok Sabha is very less, in that case, the President can nominate 2 members to the Lok Sabha from the Anglo-Indian community. So these are the legislative powers of the President. Another legislative powers of the President, the President grants sanction for the introduction of certain bills, such as money bill, a bill for the creation of a new state, or a bill for alteration in the territories of states. So these are the special, sanctions, special grants done by the President, and this is done as the legislative powers of the president. These are done as the legislative power of the president. So these are the works are treated as the legislative powers of the president. And president can issue an ordinance on two conditions. The president can issue an ordinance under two circumstances. Number one, when the parliament is not in session. When the parliament is not in session, the president can issue an ordinance. And next one, when the president thinks that immediate legislative action is required, when the president considers it that, or when the president thinks it that immediate legislation is required for the interest of the country, in that case the president can issue an ordinance. So under what circumstances can the president issue an ordinance? Can issue ordinances? Number one, when the parliament is not in session, and number two, when the president thinks that a legislative one legislative action, one legislative action is required on the part of himself. In that case, the president can issue an ordinance. So under these two circumstances, the president can issue ordinances. And next, judicial powers. What are the judicial powers of the president? The president can grant pardon for the punishment passed by any court in the following cases. Number one, in case of capital punishment, the president can reduce the punishment. In case of punishment given by the court martial, the president can reduce it. And if it is an offense against Indian law, the president can seek advice from the Supreme Court on any question of law, but it is not compelled. But is not compelled to follow the same. Okay, if it is an offense against the Indian law, in that case the president can reduce the punishment. But the president can seek advice from the Supreme Court on any question of law, but is not compelled to follow the same, except follow the same. Acceptance of the advice given by the Supreme Court is his/her discretion. So, acceptance of the advice given by the Supreme Court is his/her discretion. The president may consult the Supreme Court before taking any judicial decision, or before providing any grants of prayer by reducing judgment. The president before the reduction of a judgment, given by the Supreme Court or other courts, the president can consult the Supreme Court, but he is not compelled to seek advice from the Supreme Court. But if once the advice is sought by the president, in that case, the Supreme Court is supposed to advise the president, and in that case, the president, and it is done in the honor of the chair of the president. And next one, emergency powers. What are the emergency powers of the president? The president can execute three kinds of emergency powers. Number one, Article 352. Article number 352, that is national emergency. Due to external aggression, due to outbreak of armed rebellion, or in case of war, the president can apply 352 article number 352. And under article number 352, the president can declare national emergency in the country. The next one, article number 356. Under article number 356, the president also, the president can declare emergency because of breaking down of the constitutional machinery. Whenever the president considers that matter, that the constitutional machinery is going to be broken down, Under such circumstances, the president can apply 356 Article 356 of the Constitution of India and can declare emergency in the country. And next one, under Article number 360, 360, under Article number 360, the president can declare financial emergency in the country. Under what circumstances? When there is a threat to the financial stability of India. When there is a threat to the financial stability of the country. Under such circumstances, the president can declare financial emergency under Article number 360. So these are the special powers, emergency powers of the president, and these are the special articles of the Constitution of India. As per the articles, the president can declare emergencies. And next one, discretionary powers. What are the discretionary powers of the president? What are the discretionary powers of the president? The president plays an important role in the parliamentary system of India. When a coalition government or when a coalition of parties state their claim to form the government, the president can use his or her discretion and judgment to select a leader to lead the nation as the prime minister and provide national stability. Whenever one political party fails to make sure two-third majority, whenever any political party fails to have two-third majority and uh, and unable to form an independent government, in that case, there is a question of making coalition government in the country. And how is a coalition government formed? Whenever there is a possibility of forming a coalition government in the country, no political party, gets two-third majority, and there is a possibility of forming a coalition government with the help of different political parties. The role of the president is very important in the country. The president plays an important role in the country. How? By consulting different political leaders. Generally, president calls the leaders of different political parties and asks them whether they are able to form a government in the country and how many political leaders or how many political parties are with them. If they are able to satisfy the president by giving necessary informations, the president may call that the head of the political party or the leader of the political party to form a coalition government. But generally, the president does not call any political party leader, but different political parties in consultation with each other regarding the formation of a coalition government in the state. And state they generally go to the president and meet him or her in making a coalition government in the center. In that case, the role of president is very important. The president plays an important role. The president initially asks the leader who generally meets him for making a coalition government, whether they have how many political parties are with them and whether they have majority support of other political parties. If they are able to show the evidence of taking support from other political parties and the names of the political parties, in that case, the leader of the coalition, the leader of that very political party is called to take an oath as the Prime Minister of India and to form a coalition government for smooth running of governance in the country. So these are the important discretionary powers of the president. My dear student, next day I shall discuss about the limitations of the president. The limitations of the president onwards I shall discuss. I shall finish. Thank you.